What is up, guys? All right, so look, we are doing our NEAT course. Um, so this is what is involved. All right, so we're looking at NEAT and the fundamentals of body composition change. Um, so we're going to start off with this. This is TDEE. Might be a term you've heard before, but it stands for total daily energy expenditure. Basically, what we're talking about here is our metabolism. Now, our metabolism is made up of four parts. So your total daily energy expenditure is made up of these four parts. All right, your BMR, your NEAT, your TEF, and EAT. All right. Now, BMR is your baseline metabolic rate. So this is like the rate that your body burns at just to keep itself alive. So it's to do with organ functioning. It's to do with heat regulation, making sure your body's at the right temperature, making sure all the processes in your body are firing correctly in order to keep you alive. So if you were to do nothing at all, like nothing, not move a single inch and just lie there on the sofa, just surviving, then the amount of calories that you burn, that would be your BMR. So it's the amount of energy that you use just to stay alive, all right? And you can see over here in this wee table that your BMR accounts for 70% of your total daily energy expenditure. So your total amount of calories that are burnt in the day, 70% of that comes from BMR. All right. Next up then, so 70% goes to BMR. All right, and then we've got a further 15% which goes to something called NEAT. NEAT stands for non-exercise thermogenesis, and this is basically all the calories that you burn outside of exercise. So what I'm doing now, moving my hands around, this would be considered NEAT because it requires energy in order for me to do it. Scratching your head, fidgeting, like bouncing your leg up and down. People who have wee kind of almost tick movements that they would do, all this stuff burns energy. Doing housework, walking up and down the stairs to your job, walking to your job if that's part of your, if you don't drive and you have to walk to work. All this stuff is NEAT. It's calories that are burned through activity, but not exercise activity. Now, the reason that a big part of this course is built around NEAT is because this is our biggest calorie burn outside of our BMR. We can't control our metabolic rate. We can't control our baseline metabolic rate. That's out of our hands. But the biggest component we can control is NEAT. All right, so this is our non-exercise activity. And we'll talk about how to increase that now shortly. But after that, there's something called the thermic effect of food. And basically what this means is that whenever you consume food, your body has to spend a bit of energy in order to extract energy out of the food. So if food contains, say, 500 calories, your body has to work a bit to extract them calories out. All right, so food and different kinds of food groups have different thermic effects. So some foods will require your body to spend a bit more energy to extract it. Foods like protein and fiber cost more to extract, which means you burn more calories just by eating those foods. And that's something that's really important. And that's one of the reasons that we are big on protein and fiber. All right, so that's thermic effect of food. And then you've got exercise thermogenesis. So this is the calories that we burn through exercise. Now, an important note here is thermic effect of food accounts for 10% of our calorie burn, and exercise accounts for 5%. So our NEAT burn is the same as thermic effect and exercise put together. And this is one of the reasons that coaches will, put a big emphasis on keeping your steps in and trying to increase your activity levels outside of the gym. It's also one of the reasons that people who think that they can just start exercising and they're going to lose loads of weight and get into the shape that they want always end up disappointed. It's because exercise doesn't actually burn that much calories in the grand scheme of things. So just by increasing your activity levels, your exercise activity levels won't have that big of an effect overall in terms of burning body fat. All right, so the whole thing works together. So we've got to be nailing our exercise, we've got to be increasing our high thermic foods, and we've got to be upping our NEAT. And if we can do all that together, we're on to a winner. So how do we increase our NEAT then? So here are a few ways that you can increase your NEAT in your daily routine. And it's really important that you do these things daily and you make a habit out of them. So something like if you live near a shop, instead of driving there and you go to the shop every day to pick up dog food or maybe get some milk or bread, walk there and walk back, and that's going to increase your daily physical activity levels. If you typically drive to work, well, drive to work, park a half a mile or a mile away. Obviously, give yourself enough time so that you can make that walk and do work from your car, which is parked a bit further away now. And so if you park a mile away, then you've got a mile walk in and a mile walk out. Then that'll be 2 miles of walking every day that you'll have embedded under your routine. Or just getting out for some intentional steps in general. So make a habit of every night or at lunchtime going out for a walk and trying to get in as many intentional steps as you can during the day. A very good one that works well with our members is having a physical family day at the weekend. So on a Sunday, make a Sunday a physical family day. So it's a day that you go for a hike or you go to, like a somewhere that's really, really good for the family. It's an attraction or it's something with a good view. Maybe head down to the Giant's Causeway and take a walk down there, or whatever it may be. Just make it a physical day, but a day that's also spent with a family. So you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You don't feel like you're neglecting the family by always trying to exercise and try to do something. They're coming along with you. It's really rewarding, and you also get a higher NEAT burn, which is a big one. Now, some more fundamentals then is water. So water and veg. So it's really important to increase that water intake, because the importance of water when it comes to weight loss and body composition can't be overstated. High water and high fiber preloads 20 minutes before a meal can often offset the weight gaining effect of high energy density foods. So we talked about high energy density foods in our nutrition module. Now, if we say drink 500 milliliters of water, 20 minutes before a meal, what happens is we're more full, so our appetite isn't the same, and then we consume less calories just because we're not hungry enough to consume the amount that we typically would have had we not had the water. You can also do the same thing with high fiber foods. So 10 to 20 minutes before your meal, if you have something like a salad, a really low calorie salad, or a pint of water, that can help to offset the calorie intake that you typically would have if you hadn't done that. And we get some outstanding results whenever we look at studies of this kind of stuff. The difference between people who weren't doing preloads and who were can sometimes be up to a stone over a 12-week course. It's a massive impact, and it's very, very easy to implement into your routine. Now, also, making sure that you're topped up in your water intake has a massive impact on your weight loss in general, because if you're semi-dehydrated and you're not consuming the amount of water that you should be, it's going to have a big impact on your performance. All right, so you'll not train as hard in the gym, you'll not burn as many calories through exercise. You'll also, because your body's not in an optimum place, your energy levels will be lower in general, will lower our overall activity levels, and also because our body isn't in an optimum position because it's semi-dehydrated, it won't operate as it should, and so it won't liberate fat the way that it would if it was typically in a good position. So the fundamentals are very important, and water is one of them, and it's overlooked by a lot of people, and it has a massive effect on body composition, whether that's muscle building or weight loss. It's incredibly important. Sleep is the same, because if we're not getting enough sleep, again, our body's not in an optimum position to do what we're asking it to do, and that means that we're not going to liberate fat the way we would, we're not going to build muscle the way we would, and we're not going to get the results that we would had we been sleeping the way we should have been. Now, rodent studies have shown that when we control for calories, fattening diets appear to be even more fattening when we have less sleep. So that means 2,000 calories is even more fattening when we're tired. internal clocks, when internal clocks fall out of sleep, this typically happen or fall out of sync. Sorry, this typically happens when we use screens at night. When we eat in the middle of the night, don't get sufficient sunlight when we wake, or if we do rotating shift patterns. So be careful of all of those things. Excess calories and poor performance. When we're tired, we eat more calories and we work out less intensely. We also slow down those need processes, so we don't fidget as much, we don't move as much, we typically sit about more. So by getting more sleep, you will lose weight faster and you will get healthier. This means that you can stay slimmer and healthier simply by looking after your circadian clock. So that's just your sleep patterns. Now, prescription for sleep, try to get between 6 and 8 hours for everyone. So that means if you're somebody who says, no, I can function good on 4.5 or 5 hours, you can't. You're not functioning the way you would do had you been getting 6 to 8. And this is a rule for everybody. No screens after 9 p.m., sorry, that should say, and no coffee after 6 p.m. And that is it for lesson 4, guys. I'll see you in the next lesson. Take all that on board, and I'll chat to you again soon.